Hey there, this is High Score TJB alongside, as always, Legit Camel here on 99 Continues. And we got a pretty interesting news tidbit in the news today. The Sega Genesis is coming back into production after 22 years of factory work being stopped made on the Sega Genesis, however you want to say that. 22 years old system is coming back into production, going back on the factory lines. This isn't one of those plug-and-play games where, automatically has preloaded games on there and that's it. This is the original Sega Genesis where you can put cartridges back in again, which is pretty cool. We have, of all places, Brazil to thank for this. Right now, apparently 150,000 Sega Genesis are sold in Brazil yearly. That's pretty impressive. That's crazy, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, that's like the coolest part of this whole thing is actually, I think Brazil never stopped production of the Genesis. They never stopped producing them to sell in Brazil itself. I don't know exactly how they set up a deal to get that how it was, but they never stopped selling them. And this has been something that has been talked about for kind of a while now, actually. I heard a rumor months ago, but I thought it was just a rumor. I'm like, there's no way that Brazil is going to start like mass producing these things and start shipping them out all over the planet, essentially. Yeah. Like that's going to be in Europe and in the United States. I think they're going to start
because when you think major players in the video game industry, you think Japan, America, and just Europe in general. South America is definitely never in there. That's like going, oh cool, Kenya's buying a lot of Super Nintendos. Let's start making Super Nintendos again. That's just not something you hear about, So this is very odd and rare, but at the same time really cool because to me, this actually opens up the door. I'm thinking big here. Maybe Sega Genesis games comes back. Maybe indie developers start making Sega Genesis cartridges again. And we have new Sega Genesis games 22 years after the Super Nintendo Sega Genesis console wars of the early 90s. That's just mind-blowing to me. That's something I've always dreamed about, but it's just never been a thing, and I never even thought of it as being a thing. So big thanks, Brazil. A few little details about this system that we know now. It's going to be produced either June or July of 2017. The price tag is going to be around $140, which is actually, I guess not terrible.
Honestly, it's not the best either. I think
that's because in America we have so many of them that we could buy used for $50.
Yeah, that is true. Also, being shipped overseas, and I think it's going to be kind of a limited market too, to be honest. I don't know if it's gonna be in your Walmart or something like that. It might be. It's gonna be more of a specialty item that's gonna be a little bit more difficult to get your hands on, but it's still cool that you can get a mint brand new Genesis, and it's got a couple little added features, right? You got a little SD card in there.
There's an SD slot, and it's gonna already come with an SD card that has about 22 games on it. As to which games they are, no idea yet. But nonetheless, it's gonna have an SD slot, so that way you can have emulated games play on there, as well as, like I said, the actual physical cartridge games.
That is the coolest part for me, is now I don't have to buy some third-party, Hyperkin brand Genesis console for me to, try to emulate games on.
Or a Retron or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Which is Hyperkin.
And I think that you might see so many developers making some games for the Genesis again, because you see it even nowadays with the old NES, how people are just doing flashcards and stuff like that. I think you'll see more Genesis game flashcards of random indie titles being developed for the Genesis, and that'll be kind of cool. I don't think it's going to be a big market or anything like that, but I think it'll be a little small indie market that if you really want to go and look around for a brand new Genesis game, you're going to be able to find a nice little place to order some.
Oh yeah, because if you think about it, Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis was the pinnacle of 2D video gaming. And so it never really made sense to me as to why, when the new systems came out, at the time, the Nintendo 64 and the PlayStation, then eventually, of course, Xbox farther down the line, why they just stopped at the Super Nintendo. I guess I get it, but why does it have to be that way? Why was that the rule? I just don't get that. So hopefully, this is going to make one gamer's dream come true with that. And then, of course, Sega is not the only person bringing back old systems. This is old news, but there's holiday season, so I just want to elaborate on this a bit. The NES Mini is coming out November 11th. And for the one person living under a rock, it's $60, 30 preloaded games. The system is very small. I think smaller than the controller, to be honest, and is pretty much an exact copy of the original Nintendo Entertainment System. Only thing is, it does not have a cartridge slot, and you cannot add games on there. So the 30 games that are on there, they're on there. There's no way to download new games, but it is, of course, 2-player. You can plug in 2 controllers, not the original Nintendo controllers, but nonetheless 2-player, functionality, which is cool. HD output, multiple different ways you can view the, games to be played on your TV screen, whether you want it in CRT mode or pixel perfect mode. So you can do different versions of that. Like I said, HD. And I said that there was only 30 games already on there, and you cannot add any more. Well, the good thing is those games are good quality games. I mean, these aren't just 30 random games that were cheap to put the titles on there. No, this is a few of these I have written down. Excite Bike, Castlevania, Mario 1, Mario 2, Mario 3, Balloon Fight. I believe Ice Climbers is on there. They have some actual high quality games on there. So it's not just a bunch of, oh, hey, what games can we put on there for cheap? All right, let's put those on there. These are good. It's done Nintendo quality. Even the menu that I've seen, the menu for these games, like just scrolling back and forth to what game you want to pick, is good quality, easy to control, easy to find, stuff like that.
For some people, honestly, I think you're gonna look at that $60 price tag. It's like $60 for a bunch of games that are like 40 years old. Honestly, I think this is a fantastic price point because if you're gonna start getting into the NES like collecting, like trying to get some of the old games back to play them again, you look at the price tags of some of these games. Like Mario 3 is like a $20 game alone. Oh, yeah. And you're getting how many again? 30 games on there. Do you know if it's got I can't think of it, Contra?
It does not have Contra, but it not the original Contra, but it does have another version of Contra that was released for the NES.
Because I know that is a big game. Like, everybody wants to get Contra for their NES, and for some reason the price of that game has gone skyrocketing. So for me, that seems like it would be a big selling point if you could get games like that on there.
Super C, that's what it has on there. It has Super C. But it also has Ninja Gaiden, Metroid, Legend of Zelda, Kirby's Adventure, Galaga, like I said, Balloon Fight, Donkey Kong Jr., Final Fantasy. That's pretty cool. Tecmo Bowl is gonna be on there.
Tecmo Bowl is really cool. And honestly, from what I've heard, like people that have gotten to demo test this console out, it feels just like you bought the NES again. Like the controller, that is. Like, I don't know if anybody's played on their old NES controllers now, but these things have been around for a long time.
Yeah.
So you use them again, and the buttons are getting squeaky. They're not being as responsive as they used to be. I mean, the quality was fantastic on this stuff back in the day, but I mean, the years have worn them down. It's going to be really cool to get a new set of NES controllers and get that same Nintendo quality once again, just like you had from your childhood. It's kind of a nostalgia thing for some people too. We did read another article that somebody thinks that this is going to be the best-selling
thing this holiday season. I cannot disagree with that at all. I actually support that. I don't know if it's the best, but it's definitely going to be Tickle Me Elmo hotspot, for the holidays. Like, everybody's going to want one. It's going to be sold out everywhere. I guarantee that. That is my prediction.
I have two thoughts on this, honestly. Either it's going to be the best-selling, or it's just going to be kind of mediocre. Like, I could see where a lot of the younger generation, like for us, this seems super cool because we kind of grew up with it through our lives. But like the younger generation, they're gonna look at this and be like, "What is this pixelated, crap? I want to get the new Call of Duty or something like that." So they might miss that whole market. But then again, my brother's only about 10, and he is super into older Nintendo games. I'll talk to him and go and visit my mom once in a while. And I'll talk to him, and he'll be talking to me about all these cool Super Nintendo games he wants to get, and all these other Nintendo games that he was looking at, and he wants to actually get himself a Nintendo. So this is something that my younger brother would be interested in, I think, to get as a Christmas present, which would be super cool. I don't know if it's just my brother, but I'm sure there's other younger kids that might think the same thing, super into video games, and they think that the older games are kind of cool.
Well, not just that, but I actually know a handful of people who aren't gamers, but want this system because when they were kids, the NES is what they grew up on. And so to hear that this is coming back, to hear that it's only $60, to hear that there's 30 games, 30 really good games on there, I know a handful of people who are already devoted to buying this thing. So this is that whole selling to moms theory. You have to sell it to the casual person. this hits the casual market right on the head, while at the same time getting the core market of people who love the old systems like your brother and like, you know, you and me. This is for them. Like, this is directly for them, and that's why I think it's going to be a great holiday seller. Plus, all the reviews we've seen so far are stellar on it. The lowest one I've seen is an 8.1.
Really? That's actually fantastic.
Yeah, so I really think this is going to be a big thing. But yeah, so the Sega Genesis.
One last little small thing. Are these controllers that you're going to get going to be compatible with your older NES?
No.
Not at all?
No.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah.
that got me a little excited. I wasn't sure if that was going to be a thing or not. So that was just something I wanted to clarify.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not. But yeah, so the Sega Genesis, Nintendo Mini, some old stuff coming back to the modern day, which is going to be pretty cool. Hopefully we can get our hands on both of them. That'd be kind of cool, I think. Hey, this is High Score TJB. Thanks for watching. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe, like us on Facebook, like us on Twitter, tell your friends about us. Just anything to help get the word out, help get us some more subscriptions, likes, all that fun stuff. If you want to see any more videos, click any of the links shown here, and see you next time.